Hey, it's your V-Twin Foodies. I'm Dael, and behind the video there is Mike. There's Mike.
It's always my hand.
Always his hand. Everybody knows Mike by his hand. All right, so hey, we're actually here in Hot Springs, North Carolina. We're just across from the actual spot area. We're at the campground. And with me is Randy Buckner. And Randy just come up from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's doing several things here. And so we want to kind of give him some promotion on what he's doing.
We are trying to raise money now to furnish the tiny homes. Now they're 12 by 16s, like I said. They're not big, but they're big enough that they can survive. They do have electricity. They are putting insulation in them, so they'll be fairly easy to heat and cool, no bigger than they are. But we want to give them beds. I'm giving them a closet. I have several plans. They can get a closet. They can get a cabinet to work off of and store things in, a refrigerator, bunk beds, a love seat that comes out into a bed, another bed. So it'll house 4 to 5 people, and even more if they had to on the floor. Generally, these things are furnishings for, and the size of them are usually about 4 to 5 people living in them. So guys, for a couple of $1,000s, we can furnish the things these people need just to live and survive every day, have somewhere to stay warm, stay dry, be able to cook, be able to have heat, and hopefully this summer we're talking about trying to get some air conditioners. But for $2,000, guys, we can provide that for these families. And it just warms my heart to think that where people don't have anything, now at least they have something. They have a little dignity.
And as you can tell, we're here at Hot Springs, North Carolina, and we are at the Hot Springs Resort and Spa. We're actually across the street at the campground. And as you can tell, this is what Hurricane Helene has done. It has come up from the river down here below us. And we have 3 of the buildings that was actually washed away. They're all 3 of them down here now side by side. And yeah, so we're here with Paul Withrow and Randy Buckner. And Randy's coming up from Atlanta, talking to the gentleman, Justin, and Peck. And Justin is actually building tiny homes for those who are in need. And he's building 100 and something. And Randy, a friend of Paul's, and he was wanting to do something. So he's wanting to furnish the tiny homes with furniture, refrigerators, everything that's necessary to be into it for a family to live. And but yeah, this is the iconic stage that was here. It's been here for 30 plus years, and sadly, because of the damage, it's not going to be able to be rebuilt. So they are actually going to have to tear it down. But the good thing is the sign up there is going to be going into the new building that they're the building here with the kitchen and stuff. So it was a miracle because that sign is 39 feet and the beam they have inside the building is 39 feet. So it's going to work perfect for them. So Mike and I have already went out and we checked out some of this area, and the destruction that you see on the banks is just incredible with and how much the water got up and how much debris and stuff is on the banks and how wide it's actually widened out in certain areas. So we got a beautiful view of this little mountainside over here, and the mountains around us. And yeah, so it's a beautiful day here today. And so we're going to be doing some interviews, and we're going to be going from there and seeing where it leads us to. We'll talk to you guys in a while.
All right, my name is Justin Peck. I am the founder of the National Mental Health Alliance. We are here in North Carolina helping with the hurricane relief effort in Hot Springs. So we first initially started in Swannanoa, which was pretty much the hardest hit area in there. And the initial goal was to build 10 of the tiny homes for the residents around. The initial 10 turned into 101 structures, and we got those all done within about a 3-month period of time. And we understood that the community still had a lot of need. So we went from Swannanoa and moved out here to Hot Springs about a month ago, and we're just in the last final stages of finishing up our hub, and we're ready to start building again.
So what do we have here to your right?
So this building that we have here, this is going to be our pantry that we have most of our kitchen supplies and stuff for all of our volunteers. One of the biggest things that that we've always wanted to do is make sure that we take care of the volunteers the best that we can to be able to provide a good experience for the volunteers so that they come back. There's no way that the one man or even one group can do anything without basically an army of volunteers. And like I had mentioned previous, I mean, we've had 500 to 600 volunteers come through our organization, and it's been pretty incredible. So
What do we have behind us?
So this is our kitchen that we're putting up. So it's kind of a twofold operation that we've got here. First, we're using it as our volunteer coordinating center, places where the volunteers can come. We've got a kitchen in here. We can cook. We cook for everybody. Kind of a communal area. And then once everything is done and we're basically finished up with helping with the hurricane relief, we'll be leaving the building here for the campground, and the campground can turn it into the kind of a venue of sorts. They'll be able to rent it out for weddings, for quinceañeras, for basically anything that they need. But the main focus behind what we're trying to accomplish here is to provide a commerce back into the city. The city typically has anywhere between 75,000 and 100,000 tourists that come through this area. And as it is right now, tourists don't have a place to stop. So we had the mayor of Hot Springs, Mayor Abby, she reached out to me about a month ago and asked me if I could come and help. And we came in force. So we're out here, we're helping. And then ultimately the buildings, this building here and then our hub building up top, we're all going to leave for the community and give the community at least some type of stability in the sense of having more commerce out here. If the more people that they can get to stay in this area, the more money that will be spent. And then when money's spent, employment goes up, and when employment goes up, people can pay house payments. So it gives people a reason to stay. Okay, so what we basically have here, and you know we're trying to get the construction pretty much complete, but this is going to be the communal area for all the volunteers. Very obvious where the kitchen's at. So we'll have cooks that will come in and cook for the volunteers. Typically, we have anywhere between 30 and 50 volunteers a week that come through this place. So we want to make sure that that they're taken care of quite well. So we have the cooks in here, they cook, and then we'll have tables and everything set out for everybody to eat. We'll have some entertainment, TVs, you know, those type of things. But the more that we can make it a safe space, a comfortable space for people, we feel that that's probably going to be the best for the volunteers. So if you look on the left-hand side, you can see the 5 structures right there. That's part of the buildings that we had built. We use those for the volunteer bunkhouses. So every Monday, we usually get a load of between 10 and 15 guys. They'll stay till Wednesday, and then we get another load on Wednesday, 10 to 15 guys, and then the random hikers that come through. And so one of my big things that I've always really tried to do is to make sure that I think my job in this whole process is to take care of the people who take care of the people. So the volunteers are the ones that are actually doing the work. And if I can take care of the volunteers to give them a good experience, then everything just seems to work. So what we've done is created bunkhouses that have good heat, have power, good sleeping arrangements. Granted, you do fit 8 people per building, so it might be a little cramped here and there, but it's better than sleeping on the ground. So, and then, like I said, they usually get, like these guys here doing the concrete today. They showed up at 4:30 this morning from Maryland, and we fed them this morning. They got concrete going. We're pouring our slab to get our main build site done, and then once that's going so by Monday, we'll be able to start building the tiny homes again. And then the big building that you see there with all the big building, that's our covered build site. So we can build 6 structures at a time underneath that. So this here, this is our build site. It's kind of a funny thing. So I always like to kind of nickname each one of the places that we have. So we have the hub that's up the road that we'll walk through here in a minute. Just showed you guys the kitchen, and this thing is our build site that I've nicknamed the Ark. So it's big. It's the ceilings are about 20 feet tall. We've got connexes. We've got a 40-foot connex, the big red one, and then we have 320s. And because we are a mobile disaster relief company or organization, we basically have built walls on top of the connexes that are we can take them down. So everything's all lagged in. So when it's time for us to move, we can just take them. We unbolt everything, and then everything will fit into that 40-foot connex, and then we load the connex and go to the next site. So everything you see here is completely mobile, which is pretty important for kind of the ultimate goal of what we're trying to do, which is just be disaster relief, help people in need. So the dimensions of this thing here, we've got it's 40 foot wide by 60 foot long. Each one of our structures are 12 by 16s, and so this basically gets us set up where we can build 6 units undercover. So whether it's raining, snowing, or horrible sunshine, we always have a place that the builders and the guys and the volunteers that are helping can be protected out of the weather. Okay, so these are the tiny homes, or we call them the primitive camping structures, and they're 12 foot by 16 foot, fully insulated, full electrical. We have outside outlets, floodlights, motion lights, all sorts of things on it. We leave them bare, so for the new homeowner or for the person who's gonna stay in them, they can paint them. But the lumber is also treated as well. So on the inside, and this one's kind of set up as we kind of see how it typically works for most families. Nothing too crazy fancy in it, but it is enough to keep people out of the weather. So like I said, we have R19 in the walls. We have R30 in the ceilings for the insulation. You can take a little small buddy heater with one of those little green propane cans, put that in this thing for about 40 minutes, and this thing will cook you out. So enough room for cots. I mean, you can typically, and we've fit families of 8 in these things, fairly comfortable. And then in one of the other buildings here, actually, I think the one next to it, it'll give you kind of an idea of what we deliver as well, that actually comes with the structure. So we understand that when people lose everything, they truly lose everything. So we provide mini fridgers, microwaves, crock pots, coffee makers, bedding, all sorts of stuff to help them at least have the stability and wherewithal to understand that they haven't lost everything. They at least have something to keep moving forward with.
No, there's no plumbing, and it's just all
No,
house like.
yeah, we the whole plumbing part, we were thinking about it, but when we dropped these things off, it was 7 degrees when we first started delivering these things, and most people, if they just lost everything, the last thing that they want to have to do is deal with water freezing and having pipes burst. So we've contracted out with a few of the porta-john companies, and you can take a little porta-john, stick it on the outside, and at least give them some sort of a bathroom facility. But honestly, most of the places that we drop these things off, if they have a house that they're remodeling, they'll have power, they'll have some type of water system that's in their old house, and then they use these temporary structures to live in and stay in while their house is being built, so they don't have to leave their property. So inside of this one, this is a lot of the things that we end up providing to the families as more of a stability type thing. So buddy heaters, food, cots. We have blessing bags, toilet, anything from toilet paper, toothbrushes, basically everything that that they can need to live. Maybe not like they have in the past, but at least give them some comfort that they have, fresh things, new things, cleaning supplies, sleeping bags, blankets, electrical things, that type of stuff. So this is one of the bunkhouses that we've built. We have 3 of these, and it's a system where any of the volunteers, when they come through, at least it gives them a place they can get out of the weather and have some comforts at home. It's still camping. We are on a campground, but at the end of the day, it's still better than sleeping in a tent. So we've got mattresses and everything that we have here, and we can house up to about 40 to 45 people on the volunteer side. So it's been good.
Now, how long does it typically to build one of these? What's your time frame?
Well, so when we're up and fully going, we can build about 12 a day. So I think our best week that we had from the Monday crew to the third. So we typically would only build Monday through Thursday, and then Friday we go through the delivery process. But our best week that we had, we built 32 structures in a week. So that's a lot of families. We kind of figured that each family structure has about four to 5 people per family. Mom, dad, a couple kids. So at the 101 that we built, that's 500 people, 500 souls that we've taken out of the weather, which is, again, at least on our end, it's super important to be able to do that, not only to keep them safe and out of the weather, but to help their mental health. So I founded the National Mental Health Alliance back in 2016, with the sole purpose of getting the mental health message out a little bit more within the communities. So we started off in a lot of the drug and rehab space. We understand that in drug and rehab areas, people typically don't have drugs of choice, they have feelings of choice. So if we can help, at least at the beginning, when we understood on the mental health side of things, when we were able to provide a avenue that they didn't have to use illicit substances, and that we could test a little bit better and get them on proper medication management, we found that our success rate was pretty incredible. We work with a couple organizations in Utah that we have an 87% success rate on the full rehab process. So where that falls into on the disaster relief side of things is we understand that when you lose everything, when you don't have a house to go to, when you don't have a warm bed to sleep in, there's a huge strain on your mental health. So when I got down here, so I I drove down 4 days after the hurricane and did a lot of search and rescue, did a lot of recovery, saw some things that were pretty rough. I found out really quick that the biggest need out here was shelter. So I've been a builder for about 35 years, and I went back home for 2 days, and we got engineered sets of plans done, and drove back out to Swannanoa, found a place to rent, a yard, and we rented some equipment. And then based off of that, that's when we started building everything. So it goes back to on the mental health side of things, we understand that with a warm place to stay, having some stability in your life makes it where the suicide thoughts or the depression or the anxiety, those things are kind of mitigated based off of what we can provide.